Hi, readers. To start today's lesson, we're going to start off with a little imagination game. So I want you to close your eyes and picture it's a nice, hot, sunny day, and you're outside, maybe at the beach, and you just got a big, delicious ice cream cone from an ice cream stand. And you just start to walk back away, and your ice cream drops right off onto the ground. What would you do to solve that problem? Take a minute and think. There are many different ways you can solve that problem. Maybe it dropped on the ground and you decided to have a temper tantrum. Or maybe it dropped on the ground and you're like, maybe if I go tell the ice cream man that it fell on the ground, he'll give me another ice cream cone. Or maybe you're thinking, well, maybe if I just scoop the part off that was touching the ground, I could still eat the rest. So as you can see, there are many different ways that you can solve one problem. So what I'm going to teach you today is that the way a person responds to trouble says a lot about who that person is. In real life and in stories too, the way a person responds to trouble or a problem gives clues as to who that person is or what kind of person they are. So we're going to be adding a new strategy to our anchor chart. Yesterday was to collect information about our main or star characters, and today our strategy is to pay attention to how characters respond to problems. So far in our book Frog and Toad that we started, and the problem was that Toad left the house very messy and is grumpy and tired and doesn't want to clean it up. So we're going to continue on reading today where we left off, and I'll reread the first few pages in case we forgot. And you're going to watch me as I notice how Toad responds to the problem or how he reacts. So let's find out. All right, here we go. So again, the chapter is called Tomorrow. Toad woke up. Drat, he said, this house is a mess. I have so much work to do. Frog looked through the window. Toad, you are right, said Frog. It is a mess. Toad pulled the covers over his head. So I already want you to stop. How did Toad react to the problem? Pause the video and think. So many of you might be thinking that maybe Toad is trying to ignore the problem. So when he woke up, he saw how much work there was to do and just wanted to ignore it and just decides to pull the covers over his head, and he's thinking maybe that the mess will just go away and he doesn't have to do it. So let's keep reading and find out some more. I will do it tomorrow, said Toad. Today I will take life easy. Frog came into the house. Toad, said Frog, your pants and jacket are lying on the floor. Tomorrow, said Toad, from under the covers. Your kitchen sink is filled with dirty dishes, said Frog. Tomorrow, said Toad. There is dust on your chairs. Tomorrow, said Toad. Your windows need scrubbing, said Frog. Your plants need watering too. Tomorrow, cried Toad. I will do it all tomorrow. So, after just reading that page again, I definitely agree with the fact that Toad is definitely trying to ignore the problem. Is there anything else that you can think of how he's reacting? Maybe he's not trying to ignore it. Does anybody else think something different? Go ahead and pause and think for a second. So maybe some of you are also thinking that maybe he's lazy or he's irresponsible and just doesn't want to do it, doesn't want to do his chores, doesn't want to clean up anything. So we just noticed how Toad reacted to the problem, but we can also see how Frog reacted to the problem, because both of them really responded and reacted to this same problem. So if we look back in the book and keep reading a little bit farther, we might be able to notice how Frog reacts to the problem. So let's keep reading. Toad sat on the edge of his bed. "Blah," said Toad. "I feel down in the dumps." "Why?" asked Frog. "I'm thinking about tomorrow," said Toad. "I'm thinking about all the many things that I will have to do." "Yes," said Frog. "Tomorrow will be a very hard day for you." "But Frog," said Toad, "if I pick up my pants and jacket right now, then I will not have to pick them up tomorrow, will I?" "No," said Frog, "you will not have to." Toad picked up his clothes. He put them in the closet. "Frog," said Toad, "if I wash my dishes right now, then I will not have to wash them tomorrow, will I?" "No," said Frog, "you will not have to." Toad washed and dried his dishes. He put them in the cupboard. "Frog," said Toad, "if I dust my chairs and scrub my windows and water my plants right now, then I will not have to do it tomorrow, will I?" "No," said Frog, "you will not have to do any of it." Toad dusted his chairs, he scrubbed his windows, he watered his plants. "There," said Toad. "Now I feel better. I am not in the dumps anymore." "Why?" asked Frog. "Because I have done all that work," said Toad. "Now I can save tomorrow for something that I really want to do." "What is that?" asked Frog. "Tomorrow," said Toad, "I can just take life easy." Toad went back to bed, he pulled the covers over his head, and he fell asleep. And that is the end of that chapter. So if we look back to the beginning problem, and we're starting to look now about where Frog reacts to the problem. So I want you to think, what is Frog doing in this beginning that shows maybe a character trait or the type of person that Frog is? So go ahead and pause and think. Now that you had time to think, some of you might be thinking, well, Frog was going around pointing out all the different things that Toad needed to do. So maybe Frog was a little bossy, or maybe Frog is responsible because he's trying to keep the house clean and trying to help out Toad by telling him what there is left to do in the house. And again, maybe you're more thinking of the bossiness because he's trying to tell Toad what to do. So we can learn so much about the characters in their books by paying attention to how they respond to a problem. So I'm about to show you what you are going to do now, and I want you to remember that first we need to think about what the character does, and then about what it might show about the kind of person that character is. Those are the two things you need to think about. So what you are going to do now is on that same book that you started yesterday on Epic, you're going to find a problem that your character or characters have in your book. I want you to pay attention to how the characters respond to the problem. What do they do or how do they behave? And then again, you're going to upload it on that Padlet link just like last time. And here's a little example of what you can write. So blank was the problem in my story or chapter. My character responded to the problem by blank. So that is kind of a sentence starter for you. You can just fill in the blanks. And then after that, you can continue reading on when you're done to collect some more information about your characters. So that is all for our lesson today. I will see you all next time.